what's going on, everyone? Welcome
Hey,
to
hey, hey.
another Team Nerd Herd show on the Nearing Nerdvana YouTube channel. I am Jeff at GeekDriven, and we are here today for another episode of Movies and Shows where we review episode 5 of the Last of Us. Sorry, I catch my breath here. Just got
That's
home.
how good it was, huh? That it took your breath away. This
Yes,
guy's
that's
gonna
how
be
good
over
the
here
run
like,
was.
take my breath away.
Yeah, we'll review episode 5 and we talk about this great show that we've all been watching and enjoying. And with that said, let's get to our panel. What's going on, Steve?
Nothing much, man. Monday is done. Thank God, man. I woke up with the cases of Mondays like you wouldn't believe.
Ugh.
I tread through it, dude. And then as soon as I got out, I clocked out. Just took a little nap, if you would say, and then I'm back at it like a crack addict. I'm
My
just
man
ready to
app.
go.
Very
Yep.
nice, very
Let's
nice.
talk, let's talk Last of Us, man. My God, I'm ready for it.
I know.
Charlie, what about you, brother? How's it going? How was your weekend, my friend?
Pretty good, man. Can't complain. And also, I didn't catch the show on Friday because it came out early due to the Super Bowl. I didn't catch it early. I ended up watching it at its regular Sunday time, but
Okay.
everyone else saw it, and they were chatting about it, how they loved it, and I was like, all right, let me be the judge of that. And I watched it, and I was like, damn, they right. But we'll talk about that.
You're right. That's
You're right.
I warned everybody last week this will probably be the best episode of the season, but we'll see.
It's pretty damn good. Yeah.
Steve, can you do us a favor? Can you
Yeah, of
do
course
all
I
the
can, bro.
the roll calls here?
Okay, all right. Let's get it started. Let's go ahead and hit it in high gear, man. We want to remember we're going to use Nerdvana 14 for 30 days of unlimited cover price for only 99 cents, guys. Excellent tool, guys. Again, if you're new to the hobby, you're looking to collect like short boxes like we do, and just kind of put them under your wing, and you want to count your collection and keep track of it so you don't get doubles. Who knows? Maybe you like doubles, but guess what? It's happened to many of us. Go ahead and get you some on this Nerdvana 14 for 30 days. Also, if you're wanting to look at, where your comics are trending, whether they're picking up steam, whether they're slowing down, keep up with the trends, make a little money, have the hobby pay for itself. You already know Nerdvana 14 for cover price, for unlimited cover price at 99 cents, guys. And hey, if you're a cover lover like we are, starting at 7 p.m., you already know you want to use TNH10 to take 10% off your purchase with our friends over at Bird City Comics. Why? Because their 8-bit covers are on Earth, Wind, and Fire. You already know, guys. They have very limited amounts. The artists that they pick always bring that heat. And guys, you got to look through their portfolio. If you missed out, God Lord knows if you see a cover that you've been spotting out, now you got to use TNH10 to save you that 10%. We did you one. High five, air high five. And then shout out to the Four Horsemen faction as they're jumping in action figure form. You got brother number 1, Santee Rudy. Brother Rudy is in the building. You already know he's the number 1 man. Blue wrenching, chit chatting. He's in every chat, guys, every chat. And all these gentlemen here, follow them. Go ahead and support their id. Go ahead and check them out. They're great gentlemen in this community. Brother number 2, something wrong. You already know something right's going to happen when he's around. And then you got brother number 3 over in old Canada, D-Anime, etc., Senpai Sama, legendary Sonnen in these parts. And then all the way from the other side of the pond, Glenn 2K12. He is also a game addict as you, Charlie, a
Yes,
DC
sir.
lover, and I'm sure he watched these commercials on Super Bowl and was hyped as we are. So, back in a flash. Shout out to the Four Horsemen faction. And then those tantalizing beats, man, up in the beginning of the show, through the middle of the show, and at the end. You guys know it's our brother Beats by Munster, our brother Eddie, also fellow collector. Let's go ahead and hit this herd chat. Let's go. We got always first GTP Comics with the keys to the comic community.
GT.
Yeah, man. He gives a thumbs up, a wave, a thumbs up, and a wave. Just
3
all
times.
together. Yeah. And then you got Apollo Cruz is in the building with the first, baby.
What up, Apollo?
You already know Apollo's ready to rock. All right, man. I think we're all caught up, man.
I think we are.
I think people are like, damn it, Jeff, you keep spoiling the show. But you know what? They had enough time to watch the show to enjoy it. You know, it's majesty. Should we get into it? I'll just
Yeah, I
you
mean,
start it off.
screw all you people with lives and stuff. You
Whoa.
know,
I know, right?
Whoa.
You guys have
Collectors?
lives.
it's not like us who we live for this kind of stuff. We live for
We
the
sure
comic
do.
books. We live for the video games, the
Hell yeah.
shows, the movies,
Pop culture, all that. You
Yeah.
bet. You bet.
the cons.
The cons.
Yeah. So I mean, this was called, I believe, Endure and Survive.
Mhm.
And if you guys don't know, that's probably like the mantra of like the game throughout the game.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is because there's like the comic book that they find in this
Mhm.
on the television series is the exact same comic they find in the video
It is.
game. And this is I never play a video game. This is just stuff I've heard, the
Easter eggs, baby.
comparisons, and like that's part of the saying. That's part of the mantra of the comic book. So that's that's part of the whole game itself, like the meta within the game. So let's talk about this episode because I was really excited. I knew this was the mid episode, the mid season episode or mid series episode,
Mhm.
and usually mid series episodes you're gonna get something nice, some special, some hangover, something to wet
Take
the
you out
taste
with a bang.
buds. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is probably the most action packed, the most clickers we've seen, the most bad guys we've seen in one scene.
And then
Jesus.
some, bro.
And
And
then
some.
some.
Yeah.
Exactly. This felt like from beginning to end, there was no real, except for maybe the first 10 minutes.
Sure.
I mean, it was just action packed pretty much after that. And if you guys watched the previous episode 4, they went through the town. They showed Joel and Ellie going, getting to Kansas City, finding out Fedra is no longer there, finding out it's pretty lawless over in KC, and they get jumped and attacked. Jumped like I'm a 13-year-old.
A gangster.
Yeah, dude. Damn, dude. You're getting jumped into a gang, Jeff.
They get ambushed, and yeah. So now we're in episode 5, and I really like how they start this episode because this episode is basically a time jump backwards to about 10 days. Right, we're talking the beginning of. This is probably right after the rebels have taken over KC, gotten rid of Fedra. You see these people getting beaten. They're getting hung. They're getting shot.
Fire.
Yeah, they're being put on fire. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you can kind of see the chaos, but you can, if you put it all together, you basically, that's pretty much the aftermath of them taking over and them beating all the Fedra officers or agents and just getting their revenge. And then you also see Kathleen, who is she's super evil, man. Like, just because she has that smile and the way she talks, that tone,
Yeah.
it just sounds like she's like a librarian or some sweet little lady.
Oh, don't passive
right?
aggress me with that shit, dude. I'll slap the paste out your mouth, girl.
Yeah, she is pretty
You don't
evil
wanna
because
open up my shoe
she has all
combo.
these people locked up. She's asking them a question. Where's Henry? And she basically tells them, okay, well, if you guys have nothing to say, I'm just gonna kill you all.
I'm gonna burn you.
Burn me.
And the thing is, if you tell the truth, then you're a rat. It's like a lose-lose
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and she already thinks you're all rats because that's why she
Yeah.
gathered you
Yeah.
all up. You were
Exactly.
collaborators, what they would call them, right?
Collaborators. Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Collaborators.
So like these are people who gave up information or gave up people so they can get medicine, food, rations, clothing, right? Like things to survive.
Yeah.
And you see the dire straits of both sides of this I guess this quarry that they have in KC. And it's like they they don't want you to. Let me rewind that back.
Go ahead, dude. Set the premise.
I am really, really, really not in the right mind right now. I just got home. I need because I didn't watch the episode.
Hey man, you had enough time in the beginning, Jeff.
No. No. It's not about that. I'm trying to remember because I was just thinking about this. I was like, oh,
right
crap,
now this guy has a busy signal.
It's hanging up because I literally
connection with the internet.
Yeah,
I watched the episode 3 days ago. That's why. I'm used to watching it the night before, so it's like fresh
in your mind.
Yeah, Charly. Charly, if you can talk about that whole part where she's talking to the prisoners, she's just the way she's talking to them and how evil she is.
Well, the thing is, when we saw her in the past episode, we don't know where she came from, how she was, and why she was. And I think someone said like she was like a soccer mom. Like how did she get this role of a leader? And you figured in this episode, you find out why she's trying to get these people, trying to weed out these people and kill them. Yes. And we do find out that these people she has in the jail cell are the ones that ratted her neighbors out, her friends, her group, her rebels or rebellion, whatever you want to call it. And so the thing about having a good villain is to understand why she's doing it, and probably you could put yourself in her or in their shoes. And once this episode explains why she wants these people to, pretty much rat their kind out and also exterminate them at the same time. And we find out that actually Henry was a collaborator and pretty much ratted her brother out. And this pretty much, she went, I want to say insane, but she went more like on a vengeful path.
Very Negan-esque.
Very Negan-esque. Very good. Very Negan-esque. And then in the end, it doesn't go well. As we were going to talk about later.
Sheena is in the building. What's going on, Sheena?
Hey,
pull up chair right next to us. Bring the popcorn. Or wait, no, I can't have that. I have a particular license.
She is the epitome of someone who's taking things too far.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And also is one track minded.
Yeah.
Because if you realize she's talking to these people, these prisoners, as if she cares about everybody else. But really, the only question she really asks is, "Where's Henry?"
Yeah, that's it.
It's only one person that she wants. There's only one person she's looking for. She's arrested all these people to find one person. And because this one person ratted out her brother. So, and we find out also that she wasn't the original leader of the rebellion, that her brother was.
Exactly.
I think we kind of find that out a little bit last episode too. But we also find out that the type of person her brother was. So he felt like a evangelistic, forgiveness
turn
kind of
person type of guy. Yeah.
Right. And also
she's all, I am not my brother.
Not as violent, not as I guess controversial. Although he was probably the face of the rebellion. He was probably just the person who was talking it up, and it was more words than it was action.
Right.
Because is it Peter or who was the guy's name? Her right-hand man.
Tommy's old voice actor, right?
Yeah, that guy. He her second in command basically says, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The whole time he was the face of the rebellion. He didn't do anything. Basically, he didn't change nothing. He said until he died and you stepped in, nothing changed. So that's why they all follow her, because she's the one who actually did something.
Exactly.
But what she did was because of her motives. And for them, they think it's for everybody, right? Like she does it for her own particular selfish reasons.
Look at Hyper coming into this. I'll chop it at the bit, dude.
Go get him in.
Should we let him in? Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Should we let him in? He's all
in.
He's like salivating. He's like, did we get to the good shit already?
Good thing we just started. So let's talk about Kathleen. Like we got this backstory at the beginning about her, but honestly, I feel like all of episode 4 and this whole intro to episode 5 was basically to give us a backstory for Henry and Sam not for necessarily for Kathleen or these people.
Mhm.
I think it's to give the reason for Henry and Sam's why they're running, where they're at in KC, you know, the dire straits that they're in, you know, and you know, we find out that the doctor that we saw in the last episode, that was the person who put them in the attic, you know, and fed them. And then when he found out that he's dead, you know, he's not coming back, they got to bounce before they get caught. And this Kathleen lady is just madness. So talk about her. Hyper, you got here, so let's go.
Okay, you mentioned her, so let's start with her, Kathleen. Look, I know that, like, I've been reading, I read some of these, you know, the rumbles of, you know, critics and all that after the fallout from the last episode, and I think a lot of criticism was pointed towards the casting of Kathleen. I don't think people also realize that, look, it was done, again, I'm not in the director's mind, but I would think it's done by his design, because they purposely made someone that does not fit that leadership archetype, like a Marlene, because this was a character. Clearly, this was a community that had to come together through oppressive regime, and they basically, a leader was born in that circle. I mean, look, Kathleen, if I'm being honest, like I said, I didn't say it, but I was thinking she looks more like the person that wants to talk to the manager of Fedra than actually dealing with Fedra.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're all Kathleen.
Yeah, I said it was I said it was a nice librarian, you know.
Yeah.
But
Karen, shit. I mean,
But
she's a real piece, you know.
Yeah. Look, because the thing is, and it's something that also Perry said when their dialogue, like her brother didn't change anything, but she did, and it kind of goes to show that, look, she kind of was given a shitty hand because her brother, who was probably more of a leadership archetype, was betrayed, and look, it's human survival instinct. When you're pushed up against a wall and you kind of have all, like, you know, everything's taken away from you, you'd be surprised at that flight or flight reflex that people might have. And in her case, her brother was taken away. She was probably feeling a lot of kinds of emotions, so she kind of had to, probably out of necessity, had to rise up and kind of take his mantle. So, but the thing is, I mean, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but throughout the episode, you kind of can tell she's not a natural leader, in a sense that she doesn't know how to lead with a clear head, because for the most part, she was doing things through emotion. And, like, you can tell between the two, Perry was more of a tactician, and, you know, he actually knew, he was more of the rational, you know, when she was telling him to kind of search out Sam and Henry, he's like saying, look, we have all this manpower, you want us to, you know, use it all on these two? And even what's his face, Joel even was kind of commenting to Henry, was like, you know, it's kind of weird that she's using all her manpowers to come after you. Even if she did betray even if he did betray the leader, it seemed like for the greater good. I don't think she was looking at the greater good. I think she was just looking at personal vendetta. So
yeah, and she had to make an example. I mean, you have to clearly be able to make an example if you want to stay.
I don't even think
top.
that was her point. Like, I don't think that was her. Like, kind of more Hyper said is she had a vendetta, a personal vendetta, and that was it. She didn't care. She wasn't a leader, like he said. She got put in that place because her brother became a martyr. And that's the only reason why they actually took over KC, or how they took over KC, because they weren't doing that before when he was in charge. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they perfectly casted her, because one, you just don't expect someone like that to be a Negan type, right?
Right.
No, it's not the archetype that you expect to lead a bunch of killing machines, right? So I think it's perfect. I think the way she played it was perfect. It was eerie. I mean, like, that's more eerie to me than some scary movies.
I will say this, though. I will say this. They did a good job of casting her, because the issue with Negan was he was damn too charismatic for his own good, that people started turning to him. And actually, I was a fan of Negan, and he bashed Glenn's head in. because that's just
Dude,
how
that was
good.
a rough one for me.
That's
Spoiler.
just how. But see, that just goes to show how good Jeffrey D. Morgan played that charismatic, leader. Whereas with Kathleen, she had a grating personality that I couldn't wait to see her get hers.
Oh
You
yeah.
should get her comeuppance.
Yo,
Like-
but yeah, when she got hers, I was like, you got, son.
Yep.
Like she
Yeah,
didn't even
we-
have to do anything heinous. And I would have been
Yeah.
like, all right, so just get her rid of her.
I know. Took out the scene.
Just take her out.
I know, dude. Bigger
She
disappear. I
could've
don't
stole-
care.
She could have stole like a federal paperclip, and I would have been like, all right, we're done with her.
Yeah. Exactly.
Steve, what did you think?
About Kathleen?
Mm-hmm.
That's your girl.
Yeah, man. Like she was really, really vindictive. Wanted to really keep, like she wanted to make sure like they didn't lose their footing anywhere. I mean, so she, like rather than to think calculated, give it a couple days of the fish them out. She was more like, let's just nip it in the bud, find them, bring them back, make an example out of them, and just keep moving forward for survival. Which was, I mean, it's survival of the fittest, right? I mean, she has to be an example there, so she has to make sure her people are okay, everything's taken care of, and the next threat will be taken care of in the future, and back to Henry, right? So she's just, on Henry, just focused on that one person. It's just it's crazy. It's madness. I mean, that's what it is. She's letting it get to her, and she just wants it done, no matter what costs.
Pure madness.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think, Charlie?
Man, on the last episode, I was like, where are they going to take this character? And this episode, I was like, you know what? Now that it unfolded what her agenda was and how she executed it, I mean, right in the middle of the show, I'm like, she's gonna get got, because she's running through this blindly, not knowing the consequences.
Yeah.
Because every action that she took down the city because of what she did. All the infected are running amok now. Now there's no way of surviving that city due to her, due to trying to get Henry. And she was nuts. And she got what she pretty much deserved. She should have just let him go. Like, you know what? I'll create a memory of my brother, and I will stick to the city, and I'll, in his memory. Meanwhile, Henry could die out there of all he knew. Because Henry, first of all, he wasn't a fighter. He asked Joel for help to okay, I'll show you the way. And
Has
you clear
a
it for
kid
me.
with him.
He has a kid with them. If I was her, I'd be like, you know what? Let him go. He's gonna die out there, and whatever. Let me just take care of my peeps. She didn't do that, and she suffered the consequences. She got greedy, and that's what happened.
I think it also shows how crappy the Casey Fedra was to be taken over by her and the rebels, and also how bad of a leader she was, because her leadership lasted 10 whole freaking days.
I know.
That's about to be a Guinness Book of World Record.
Like seriously,
she lost everything.
Like, good, she got rid of the bad people from Fedra. Sure, okay, I understand being oppressed and
she hit on a 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going for that 6.
I know, right? I'm going for it, guys.
She fought the law, and the law won in that one.
Yeah, I just should have played a song at the end. I fought the law. That's funny.
What a creepy way to go out, too, man. I was just like,
ooh, that was graphic, kind of.
Let's get to Sam and Henry.
Love the character.
Okay, Henry bothered me a little. I don't know. That's my own personal thing, but maybe he was supposed to, because he was so. He just had this attitude about him that was kind of, very
sketchy.
Yeah, it was very sketchy.
Yeah, he held the cards.
But oh my God, Sam, this kid, I think it's his first on-screen acting job.
Yeah, he killed it.
He's in real life, he is deaf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yep. And I also understand that his role is different from the game, because he is aged down in the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be more like Ellie's age, so
Mhm.
that can be like I think there was a little love interest within the game of
Yeah,
It was
no,
kind of hinted at. It was
yeah,
kind
it
of
was
like
hinted at, right?
yeah.
But you know, it's like teenager puppy love, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Young love.
And with this is, you know, the age difference makes a huge difference. I think
yeah,
the
does.
relationship between Ellie
like
and
that.
Sam,
Mhm.
it's more like I'm a big sister and this is my little brother
Yeah.
kind of thing, and they're friends, they get along, they enjoy the same things. And it makes more sense that it's a little kid than a more of a teenager boy, because
Mhm.
I don't know, teenager boys are reading comic books these days anyways. they got
It's
the
only
internet.
adults.
There's
It's
a
only
lot more
adults.
interesting things on the internet than a
Well,
comic
people
book
like us
sometimes.
read
That'll be
comic
apocalypse,
books.
man.
Yeah,
Well,
I
people
mean,
like
but
us.
yeah, like I feel like that was I understand that people are upset maybe that it wasn't the same, or it wasn't the same age, or it didn't have the same
No, it's
dynamic in
cool.
that sense.
Mhm.
But I felt like the loss also at the end is greater.
Yeah.
And also I'm trying to remember this point that I was trying to make. I feel like I guess his deafness and his and the fact that he has what is it, MS?
Leukemia. Was
Oh
she
yeah,
had leukemia?
Yeah,
leukemia,
leukemia,
right?
you
Oh,
later
yeah,
find out.
leukemia. You're
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
like it makes it even more like gut wrenching,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I also think that okay, so that was the other thing. They had talked about casting for this role. And this casting for this role actually went public a year ago, over a year ago.
Okay. Okay, I don't know that.
Dude, I should have tried out.
Because they wanted the person to be really deaf, the actor.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the range was 8 to 14 years old. So it could have been a 14-year-old.
Oh, hey.
But
Okay.
the director, I believe, said that they only got like 5 people who answered the ad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
one of them just happens to be this kid. So they picked the best person
Yeah.
out of the auditionees, and it just happens to be he's 8.
Mhm.
So they aged it down. I mean, like I feel like they played the age down because of who they hired, and also because of the circumstances that they hired the person, right? So
Mhm.
the kid did great.
Yeah. Poor thing.
The other actors who learned ASL within like I don't know, a short period of time, they did great. Henry did great with the ASL. I felt like he actually knew it, but he just learned it that week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. They said that the first shot that they filmed, he learned it that weekend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, but he was like because he's such a good actor, he was so intent on making it, practicing so much to make it look like it's naturally coming from him, not like it's someone who is faking it. You know what I'm saying? Like faking the sign language, like as if it was a second language to them.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go like Rihanna Super Bowl type sign language or everything like that, you know.
I haven't seen it yet. I should watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Son.
I need to see it. I need to watch it.
Yeah,
I didn't watch any of the Super Bowl because I forgot it was even on. I was like, all right.
Yeah, the kid was great. Henry and Sam's dynamic, the way that it mirrors Joel and Ellie.
Substance boy.
Well, I feel like Henry's story was episode 4 and 5.
Yeah, and plus in the game it ends abruptly like that too in the game.
Yeah, and also they don't have that big of a backstory in the game as well.
They don't.
I think this is more flushed out, and it's also different. It's different from the circumstances as well.
Yeah,
from everything actually.
They're really making you like know that like, hey, this is like a day by day scenario. You're not gonna make it. Like not like we're in The Walking Dead where they find salvation, they protect themselves. This is more like, hey, like it's survival of the fittest. You can make one bad move and then you're gone.
And you can't trust anybody because anybody or anything can be your enemy, unfortunately. So it's hard. It's really hard.
The humanity, like the breakdown of humanity, you could almost like taste it, right? Like if that were to happen, people's true like survival mode would kick in. Like enough of humanity, I feel like that's where it would get. you'd have to like really like engage in like just protecting yourself.
Dude, just wait until they hit another town in the game. They hit another town, which kind of goes into that staple, and you're gonna see these people what they do. And I'm not gonna spoil it. But
I'm waiting to
it's
see
that.
the Reddit forums
It's
on
that.
that one.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
I
see
mean,
if they hit that.
we are going to another town next episode.
Oh, they're going to see Tommy, I think.
Yeah.
If it goes in the timeline of the video game, they should be hitting Tommy, right? The next episode.
Well, I heard something about this next episode and pertaining to the game.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, okay, well that'll be fun to watch, but I just can't wait to how they do it, how they show it off.
Mhm. The execution.
The
of it all.
execution.
Yeah, very good, very good.
But yeah, I
in
mean,
terms of- oh, sorry.
what do you guys think of Henry and Sam and their characters and how, you know, how it relates to Joel and Ellie?
So okay, I kind of want to touch on Sticks Boy's comment about how he felt that Henry should have gotten a further, I guess, story. To be honest, I kind of felt like, look, at the end of the day, like when you boil it down, the story is about Joel and Ellie's progression, and the characters that they meet are basically going to shape their progression throughout the story.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, this was a lot more of a backstory than I expected for either of those two, because like Carlos, you played the game, you know that like when you meet Henry and Sam, you're basically just meeting them on the journey. You don't even get any backstory to them.
No, Joel almost kills him because he almost punches him to death because they just turn a corner and he's right there and they start.
Yeah, he snatches him.
He snatches
So I do find that this episode adds a bit more humanity to these two characters, and in terms of like, you know, the whole, it had a very Anne Frank feel to it with them being in the, you know, in the attic and all that, and the regime.
Roses in the attic.
Why did you go there?
Listen.
But I get what you're saying.
Totally
what did Ron Swanson say last week? The government are Nazis. So I'm not totally off base.
Hey, you're right. But so now, not before.
No, I know, but in the current regime.
The current regime.
Not our regime. YouTube. Don't take this video down. I'm
the last of us, right?
Be careful what you say there.
No, but so the thing is, look, I know that there was the complaint about like one little gripe that I was hearing is, oh, like someone was like making the comments, oh wait, are they just gonna go to every town and we're just gonna get these characters just for one episode? I mean, look, essentially, we're in a
how I want to explain that.
Yeah, we're in a post
Game of Thrones meets Walking Dead. That's
Say
what
that again.
This is Game of Thrones meets Walking Dead. Anybody can die at any damn moment. They might not last but an episode or two.
Oh, now I will say this: it will be nice if one character does kind of make it past one or two episodes, just to kind of swerve people. Because if I don't want to get like, look, we're only 4 episodes before the season finale, but I hope it doesn't become almost like a cliche, basically, where you meet a character and the character dies at the end. At that point, it turns into like an episode of The Monk, like, you know, where like the victim dies at the end, and then that's it.
Or it's just the villain of the week, the freak of the week, right? It's just that. No, I think we are gonna get. I think the okay. I want to have faith that so far what we've seen has been great. That they have that in mind already, that they already have characters that will go on, like Tommy will probably be in more episodes later because it's Gabriel Luna. I mean we can just deduce that just because of who's acting, but like these other characters, I can see some side character joining them for like part of the mission, right? And lasting 2 episodes, 3 episodes or something like that
before they get
but I really feel like if they want to, I think the whole point of this whole apocalyptic world was that it wasn't the infected that was the worst, it was the people. And I think they really want to show that, and they want to show every type of bad type of person there is in this kind of world.
I think they did. I mean, I think they were able to pull that off with Kathleen, but they were also able to show like the humane part, the like still living, right? That like diamond in the rough with Joel and Ellie, and then freaking Henry and Sam, because it's kind of like like the protector, right? They're more
Mhm.
protecting
Right.
this generation, trying to get them to where they need to go, protect them for what it's worth. Ellie has a bigger purpose. Um, and I liked how it just really was cohesive. It mixed in. You felt like both their struggles. Um,
Mhm.
I thought with Henry, like he had all the cards in his hand. He didn't really quite tell you what type of information he had. He just was positioned to put himself in a position to get out by looking at Joel and seeing like, hey, like this Billy Badass is gonna take me. He's my lottery ticket to
Billy
out there.
Badass.
It's
Out
like
this
any streetwise kid who has to who grew up on the streets. It's
Sure.
just kind of the same way. This is a apocalyptic wise kid who grew up in the apocalypse. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like he did what he has to do. He survived, and in the same time, not just surviving, but also keeping his 8-year-old brother alive.
Mhm.
Right?
There is one thing that the game like I would say it's a pretty significant thing that the game omitted, that the show omitted, that the game had. At
Mhm.
one point during the game, Henry and Sam actually ditch Joel and Ellie, and they only
Hmm.
come around to help them later on when near the
He gets
river.
swept through the river. Yeah, they
Yeah,
say.
but there was a point where those two actually bolted and they actually ditched them. You kind of got a hint of that. Like, I don't know if you guys caught
Oh,
it in that
yeah,
episode
yeah,
where
yeah. And when the
Where they took
sniper,
off and it
and
was
he
Ellie
bolted
on
and
her
then he
own.
came back, right? There was that split second. It's like, okay, it's like, I don't know, like some people may have not caught that part, but yeah, when push comes to shove, he was ready to just kind of haul
cut
Get
ass.
his
out of there.
cut rope,
His
and
losses.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, you know
cut
what,
bait
Joel?
and gone.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what, Joel? I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you for that
Whoops!
run.
Nope, that was too close. I'm coming back.
Yeah, until he hit until he hit a stall car to try to jimmy that sucker up. He'd be like, Joel.
I know, right? Where are you? Supposed to be here.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
No.
The
Oh,
so I
man.
mean, has everybody talked about Henry and Sam? I don't know
I
if
think
Um,
anybody.
Carlos has it.
I don't think
Yeah.
Charlie did. Charlie,
Oh,
his
for
name
Henry.
is Skip, man.
Call me
So
Skippy.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember. That's why. Like I gotta
Skippy.
ask.
Yeah,
I
man, you were
remember
really
last
bad
time
at
you're all
that,
like,
Jeff.
you skipped me," and I was like, "All right,
You were
I'll
close
ask."
to skipping me this time.
I didn't skip you.
No, he did.
No, you didn't. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Oh, for
Go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead and just tell him how you feel about Henry and Sam.
Henry and Sam. You know what? Since I played the game, I kind of knew their demise at the end. But to tell you the truth, if I haven't played the game, I would think that Henry and Sam would have survived. Because first of all, Sam was extremely naive and innocent, and you wouldn't think he would they have to survive. They'll have a happy ending. And
that's not how this shit works.
No, it doesn't.
You forgot this is an HBO show, right?
Exactly. And also, I love, and the fact is, it made it, this show made it even more sad compared to the game, because the kid, he was living in a horrible world. He actually, remember in the beginning, he believed in superheroes, because I
And-
mean he drew the like a superhero, like Superman with a mask. And you know how kids, when they live in a bad environment, they want a superhero to come take them away from that. So he had that imagination, like, oh, I wish that someone super would come help me, which was probably his bigger brother. And then his brother kind of made him feel better by putting the mask on his face. And if I didn't play the game, it'd be like, oh, they have to survive. How can a world like this, chew them up and spit them out? And towards the end, you find out that this world doesn't discriminate, no matter if you're good, bad, evil.
Matter of fact,
young.
those are the people who get chewed up and spit out the first.
Exactly. So I mean, wow, seeing that and seeing it again is like, damn, this kind of.
They also he at the very beginning, remember when he was covering his eyes, cover your eyes when you cross the road, right? Like don't look at that, look at me. Like the whole, and he was withholding information from him until he had to tell him.
Exactly.
Until something bad was about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So like he was trying to keep, and I think he even said it during the episode, and we was trying to keep Sam as much a kid as possible.
Yeah, which in that world is extremely difficult, and it could get you killed. So it's like, wow, it shows you how it is.
It did get them killed.
Exactly.
Spoiler.
Damn it, Jeff.
Dude,
hey, yo,
bro.
Hey, pardon me, guys. I got this friend that likes to come to parties and spoil things,
Hey, that's what this show is for.
Yes.
I mean, Kath, the way let's just talk about, because we're going to talk about deaths here. Let's talk about the main attraction of this whole episode, the explosion underground.
Oh God.
The sinkhole that becomes army, a horde
Of
of freaking infected, of
Mhm.
clickers, and also we finally get to see our first bloater.
Yeah, bloater.
Didn't
They don't
talk
call
about-
him that, but yeah, in the end credits they actually do refer to it as a bloater if you actually look at the end credits.
Yeah, but didn't they Henry and Sam alluded to when they were going to go under those pipes? He alluded to that there were a lot that were stuck down in that area, and
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, that was the area where
I don't
they
think
were at.
I thought he said that they wiped them all out from the tunnel.
That was the theory. His friend
Yeah,
said
right.
so, but
But-
they didn't
but
say how
he-
much, which tunnel. They didn't
That was
say.
3
he
years
didn't
ago.
know.
3 years ago.
Oh,
Right.
God knows what happened. God knows how they cleared them out. You know,
maybe
you don't know how.
they got next to the wall, dude, and grow themselves in.
I don't know. And the thing is, it's funny because even the episode before, episode 4, you saw that sinkhole in the bottom building. Like,
Yep.
what's that sinkhole about?
And that
And
was
it's so-
within the city.
And they were trying to dig themselves out. That's why the sinkholes were there.
I also feel like it's because of the network that it has to build through the ground,
Mhm.
like it breaks up Earth.
It does. It does.
Right?
Eventually, if she didn't take care of the issue, there'd have been sinkholes everywhere, and they would have came out eventually. Actually.
Oh yeah, they would have just.
Well,
mauled
it don't matter if it come out later or not because they're all dead now.
It would have been like Gears of War, D-Day, when all the underground people come out. What was it called?
Oh.
Gears of War. It would have been kind of like that.
Oh, the locusts.
The Locust, remember that?
But
They just
but
came out
here's
of
the thing
nowhere.
though. It was 3 years ago, right? I don't like. You have to keep in mind when Federer, whoever pushed them down that tunnel, they probably weren't expecting them to evolve like Pokemon's, like afterwards. They were probably just normal infected, right? I don't think it was like a bloater on the onset. It was probably like
No.
obviously because you go from clicker and then I believe it's bloater. I don't think there's a stage in between. So basically,
Mm.
I don't. Maybe they didn't really think of the long game what they were doing because
didn't
infected are
know.
just runners that don't
Yeah.
that you could easily kill them. Clickers and bloaters are two different levels of threats.
Mhm.
Well, that just means they were able to survive longer, so they grew differently
Right.
or evolved.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's what
And-
Joel says in the video game. He says when one stays infected for so long in one place, it turns into that. It's rare compared to a clicker and a runner, but it happens.
That's why
So,
you only
like,
saw
you
one
can-
bloater.
Yeah,
saw one
you
bloater.
can
Yeah,
kind
I
of say
saw
like
one.
that bloater was like one of the first probably infected in that area
Probably.
and just happened to survive.
Good evening,
Mhm.
Tim.
Would it?
What's up,
Yeah,
Tim?
that really made me feel like they're idiots. Because
Yeah.
like, first of
Yeah.
all, okay, if they put them all underground and they took care of all of them, right? Like killed them, supposedly. They didn't burn them because you don't burn stuff underground, not when you live above it. Like
Yeah.
that's just not how that works. So
Yeah.
like they would have just left bodies there and they might not have killed them, they could have just like incapacitated them.
Yeah,
And they're
exactly.
still growing, right? And eventually turn to a freaking bloater.
Yeah, it depends on what they mean by clearing out. Did they throw
Yeah.
water in the tunnels? Did they wash them out, flush them out? You don't know how they cleared them.
Right.
Just
Or
probably
they could
put them there for them to rest and sit there.
there was
hungry.
also remember there was
Yeah,
rooms down there in those tunnels,
Yeah.
right? They made that
Oh,
they made that little preschool in there and they had those
Yeah.
barricaded like metal doors. They could have
Yeah.
put them behind another door,
Yeah.
That's
right?
And the thing is the game says what those classes were and stuff in the game. It gives a
that's
little.
how-
Oh, and also that picture that Joel sees of those two
Oh yeah,
officers. Ish. He plays a huge role in the game. Well, he's not in the game, but you read his notes that he leaves behind, and he opened that underground kind of. It was actually
Bunker.
like a community.
Yeah.
It was a bunker. He didn't want to be alone, so he started inviting people, and more people started coming. They started drinking water from the rain. They had a pretty tight knit community. And then at the end, you find one of his last notes saying that someone left the back door open and infected in. And he was out getting food at the houses, and he saw infected go into the back door. What he ended up doing that he sealed the door and says, "Don't come
That's
in.
it.
People are infected." So he let the people in there with the infected, and he just locked it down.
Oh.
Sad moment, dude. Really sad moment in the game.
No, that what was I gonna say? If you look at everything within that tunnel and in that room, It doesn't look like there was a massacre of any sort. There's no blood anywhere. There's no fungi anywhere, right? So I feel like Fedra took those people who were underground, took them out, and put the infected in there, and put them in all those rooms and stuff. And that's why they were untouched. Like they just happened to find one room that just didn't have the infected in it.
Probably.
Yo, they came
That
out
makes
ready.
sense.
They came out ready to rock.
Dude, they hit the
I'm just
ground
curious how they
running.
climbed out of that hole. Like, what are they like? Was there like a ladder for the infected to just kind
Hopes
of?
and
I
dreams.
think it was
Hyper, hopes
just
and dreams.
I
They
don't
were
think-
like, I'm hoping I can.
I
get
don't
some
think
food.
they can feel their fingers or hands. They don't have any feelings, so they just dig their hands into the ground.
Were they doing like the
Yeah.
Sonic double dash where you build up enough speed and then you could just go?
Oh my god,
Bro, those were World War
Dude.
Z zombies, man.
Yo, they were just looking too, right? Catherine's freaking group or Kathleen's group were just
Oh
looking.
my god.
They were just like,
Like, first of
what
all,
did they do?
don't
don't you
this
guys
is
have like
terrible.
grenades?
Yo,
Yeah,
like,
but,
that would be,
but
like-
here's the thing though. In that moment, I don't think like I wasn't, as a viewer, I wasn't prepared for that onslaught. And look, I played the game and it was never like this in the game, like where it was like a tsunami of like
Of that
Oh,
man.
yeah.
like
Like,
I felt like
oh.
Simba on the Lion King. It's like,
oh yeah, dude, it was just
Damn, bro, you are killing people here.
oh my god,
Demonetized.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yo, I was it pretty much because they just came out like guns blazing. You were just like, oh, this is dire straits.
You know what?
Get
I
outta
would have ran because, like, you know what? We're
Oh,
being
yeah.
overdone. We
here.
got
You
to
live,
get
you
out
live
of
to
here.
fight another day, fool.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
wouldn't survive it. You wouldn't survive that.
I
Harry was
see
too
the
noble.
ground swallow
Harry.
up a truck. I'm out, bro. I don't care. I don't need to know the aftermath.
Yo, that
No.
bloater went freaking full shack.
Dude,
Harry's head, right?
And the thing is, in the game, that's how you die. If you get caught by a bloater, it opens your mouth. It goes, and it breaks you
Bro.
open. So that was an Easter egg. I was like,
that's like a
oh,
fatality
dude.
death scene in the game.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
He
dude.
does that.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Yeah, dude, you need a sport, dude.
That's from Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah. I'll take a sword or an axe. Just get me
Yo,
the hell
like
out of there, bro.
how many times can you swing that sucker and you know you're gonna miss at least once or twice?
Look, I'm just gonna be working out every day, all day, because that's all I got nothing else to do.
I gotta get swole in the apocalypse. I
Listen,
gotta get
just work on side
Yeah.
side dodges and then you'll be fine. It's like
Yeah, man, you better be able to break somebody's kneecaps, dude. Otherwise, you're, yeah,
work
you're
on
not-
running in zigzag. Work on
you're-
running in zigzag patterns. That's like
you
don't
better
run
be
straight.
running back, not be a tight end, dude.
yeah,
'Cause, yeah, you go right through, they're just gonna grab you and just snatch you
Uh-huh.
alive, bro. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah,
dodge
well, I mean, you
the
guys
sun.
mentioned the swarm, so like
little girl, yo.
a lot of people died.
Dude, almost
Her
everybody.
whole squad went down.
All because
practically.
she wanted what she wanted, dude, and then she
And
got
she never
got by
got
that.
it.
She got by that little kiddo, dude. That little kiddo was
Bro.
Freak.
I think that was a stalker, wasn't it? That was a stalker.
Yeah,
Because
and-
in the game,
these
there's one that like kind of like ninjas. They poke out like the corners and you can't
Yeah.
see them. They're called stalkers. I think she was a stalker.
dude. She
Okay,
was a
yeah.
stalker, dude. She freaking chilled in
that was
the
a
car
real
with Elle.
actor. That was
I
a
know,
real
Ellie.
and the way she
That's like
flipped
an Emily
over,
Rose.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
the way she
that
flipped
was-
over. I was
That
like,
was a real kid that did that. All of
Yeah.
that. That's a real
that was creepy.
That was
dude.
She was like a
crazy.
gymnast. From what I heard, she was like a gymnast or something.
contortionist,
Yeah.
gymnast.
She was definitely
Yeah.
a stalker type of the infected. So that was creepy.
That was creepy.
Those things are
as
creepy
hell.
as hell. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, boy.
Oh, my God.
Kansas
that-
City has
it-
fallen. Yes.
Yeah, it
has.
reminded me of Insidious.
Oh god,
Oh,
dude.
dude.
Exorcist
Ugh.
type of deal.
Oh, bad.
But here's the thing, though. And this was like my knock on The Walking Dead, and this I guess happens after you run a few seasons of it. It got to the point that the zombies became more of a nuisance than a threat. And the thing is, with this show, the last 2 episodes, I felt like the tension wasn't there, and I think part of that was because there was a lack of clickers or infected. And I think this episode was almost like the Jay-Z's, like, allow me to reintroduce myself. It's like, like they need, like, well, oh, okay, these are the people that, like, it got to the point that I think we got into a bit of a lull, and we were getting so invested in these characters, and we forgot about the threat entirely. Not that
Yeah.
we completely forgot about it, but it's almost like you need something like this to kind of showcase, like, these aren't, like, you're walking 5 miles per hour clickers. These are legit threats that that can come and get you.
I mean, I
Anytime.
think it also really showed like at what depth Catherine was willing to go.
Yeah.
And like there's cost, and freaking with every reaction comes an action, and that's exactly what happened. She was just so greedy to get to Henry, and at that cost, it's Mother Nature just basically showing you like, hey, this is war. Like, and there are no sides. You got threats that you have to focus on, even then some, and even then everybody got eaten alive except for her. She just panned her way over, and little stalker freaking ate her alive, yo.
She
Mother
gave
Nature
her
was
a
like, I
ground and
don't care
pound
what's
before. She
going
gave
on.
like a UFC ground and pound before
Oh
chopping.
my
I was
god! I
like,
know the referee should have came out and been like,
yeah, it's over with. Somebody throw in the towel.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
she's not coming back.
yeah, she wasn't prepared. It just showed like it kind of proves to me like even though they took over Fedra in Kansas City, they needed them.
Yeah,
Like
you
they
need
needed
some
them no
sort of
matter how you look at it. Like
stability.
they fucked around and found out is basically
Yeah,
what
they
happened,
did.
right?
Yeah, they got a degree
Like
for that.
and they found out the real world is worse than we actually thought in the city under Fedra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's taken in a lesser of two evils, and they didn't, and because they didn't understand the whole situation, they didn't survive. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about the deaths though. Like we've got well, who's the second in command?
Perry.
Yeah, there you got Perry, you got Kathleen,
her squad,
her whole entire, and this is her best squad, right? Because her best, she was taking her best squad to fight Henry. There's no
a guy who does not even fight. He has empty ammunition for guns.
Yeah,
dude, she just
and a kid with a kid. These are two
kid.
kids, actually. If you really think about it, they're two kids.
Oh,
yeah, no, essentially, yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
I
much.
mean, compared to her, I mean, and the well, I'm not trying to say she's old. I'm just saying they're young.
For shame.
Yeah, it just shows how one track minded she was, and how she was blinded by her vengeance and hatred, and she basically doomed all of KC. So so when Perry says, "Oh, you're our savior," basically, you're the one who did something. You're the one who helped free us. Well, in fact, she actually got you all killed.
Yeah, she
I bet you
condemned all
he
of
could have
them.
rethought that one as he was getting disemboweled and pulled.
Well,
apart.
also, the thing is, she only rose up because of the circumstance that it was like a personal thing to her. It's not a case of, I don't think it was a case of her rising to the occasion because she felt she had to be leader. I think it was more out of vengeance and spite. So out of that blind loyalty, yeah.
I thought she said even before her brother was captured, she really didn't have much to do with the rebellion.
No,
like it wasn't about her. She didn't. It was just her brother.
Yeah,
and because he became a martyr, she was the person they all looked to.
I mean, but forget about her, dude. Can we just R.I.P.
Yeah, she dead and gone. She gets murked by the littlest of the infected.
I know,
and it suits her right, because the whole time her whole argument to Henry, and this is when you really hate her even more. Like I didn't know you can hate her more, but her little speech to Henry and Sam, was mostly Henry about Sam, is that he was supposed to die. Sometimes kids are supposed to die.
He died all the time.
And he's like,
what excuse is that?
This is what happens when you mess with fate. And this is all this other stuff, right?
Okay,
like,
kill him.
And Henry's like, he's just a so the fact that she gets her comeuppings by a kid herself, because she's like, kids die all the time.
It is an irony, yeah.
I love that irony. Kind of saw it coming. Once I saw that thing come into the car, I was like, oh, this thing's gonna kill her ass. I can't wait.
I think it was nasty.
Oh man,
it was all in pajamas still. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
it was
lover party.
Yeah, I think they purposely had her wear a specific shirt too, like some little kid TV show shirt. And that just makes it even more creepy, because it makes it more personal for like parents who actually like sit down with their kids to watch that show.
Yeah,
I think I
no,
told you
exactly.
guys this. I think in the first episode when we did the show, I said like one of my fears is if I see a kid in the middle of the night with no guardians and just walking around in the middle of the night, I'm switching my gear to R and I'm just backing out the car. There's no way
You're thinking like Will Smith in Men in Black. Oh, that little girl. Oh, she the trouble.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? Exactly. Hell no.
A little girl, middle of
Come
the
on.
night, walking out in
Walk,
the ghetto.
walk.
it ain't October 31st. What are you doing outside?
Yeah, right.
I know.
Yeah,
There's
don't
no
you have
way.
somewhere
No
to be?
way.
It's school night. Get out of here.
I
Get
know.
out of
it's
me.
just-
Why are you so pale?
Oh yeah. Why do you have cauliflower on your face? I'm like,
I know.
Why do you have no emotion on your face?
You have no face, actually.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I love that they all got theirs, but man, that ending,
That broke my heart, son.
bro, I couldn't believe it. I mean, good for this show, good for the directors, good for the writers that this wasn't in the game. And the particular way this happens, except for I think Sam is the one who turns, right? Is infected.
Yeah,
Or is it Henry?
Yeah, he is infected. So Sam's infected because he got bit, I believe.
So in the game, is that Henry?
In the game, the little brother gets infected.
It is.
Still.
So it is Sam.
It is. The little brother still gets infected, but it's different because
he doesn't tell her.
Yeah, Sam acts weird because first of all, Ellie gives him a toy that he wanted back in the city, which his brother said, "Don't get that toy." She gave it to him, and he looks all like disappointed the whole time. Like, what's wrong with him?
Oh.
He throws a toy on the ground and like he looks sad and he's like, whatever. And then you see he pulls up his pants and he's bitten, but he doesn't tell anybody. So not until in the morning when Ellie wants to go wake him up for breakfast, and then he just attacks him in that same fashion. So
yeah. So like that's crazy. I guess he the brother murks his Henry murks his own brother.
Yeah, because he knew he was infected at that moment. Even in the game, it was almost the same thing. But he points. First of all, Joel has a gun, or he's gonna go after his backpack for the gun, and then Henry points the gun at him, says don't. He shoots his brother, and then he points the gun at Joel, saying, "This is your fault." At Joel, and Joel goes, "Hey, I don't know what you're talking about." He almost blames Joel. Henry almost blames Joel for everything, and then he
I think it's the grief and the shock.
Yeah.
Right. And it actually feels more believable now that I saw it. Like it felt like I don't know what I just did. I just woke up. He even explained it, I think, in the after show. He went to sleep happy. They got out of the city, they got out alive. They're now gonna got invited with Joel and Ellie to go on this trip away from all this crap. He feels safer with Joel because Joel got him out, right, alive. And so he's going to sleep happy, excited, hopeful. And then he wakes up to that. Like that's literally the first thing he sees when he wakes up.
Total 360, dude. Total
right,
360.
Like everything is like he knows that his brother is turned, but it's not really registering. So it's like he's kind of like he's separating it, right? Like he's having like this.
Yeah, he's trying to put it all together.
Duality.
Shock.
And you got to remember, he says he never killed anybody. So the first person he kills is his little brother.
Right.
So that's even a shocker, more of a shocker. Be like, can't believe I did that. You know what? I can't live anymore. Let me just take myself out. That sucks.
But it's because it's. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. Okay, now I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Okay, so you gotta kind of like with these kind of situations, I kind of try to put myself like in that character's shoe because it's like I kind of liken it to this kind of situation, right? Like I hope this doesn't happen to anyone in the chat or you guys, but there's been cases where sometimes you're going about your day and then you might hear like one of your family members passed away like in an unexpected way, or something happens and you hear it unexpected. Like it's different. Like let's say you're with someone on their bedside and they're sick and then they pass away. That's a different case. It's another situation where, like Jeff pointed out, like he had an optimistic view for the following day and then stuff just hit the fan the following morning unexpectedly, and then
the worst happened.
And then it basically was like one reactionary move after another that followed to, But I just want to back up a bit. you kind of have to like
Tim,
everything
I
that led
agree.
to that point, right? Like Henry, like
Mhm.
his whole being, his whole purpose was to preserve Sam. And
Right.
Mhm.
even
That's how this whole thing started.
Yeah, exactly.
and the thing is, even like it's a bit of an eerie callback, but Ellie asked Joel, "What's the point of moving on?" in the episode 4, and Joel said,
Mhm.
"For family." Sam was his only family,
Mhm.
and he basically risked his own life. Like he basically outed, knowing that he would be Kansas City's most wanted man. He outed somebody and put a target on his back just so that he can get medicine to his brother. So he made a lot of self-sacrifices to preserve his brother, and to have that cruel irony that basically it wasn't any of the humans or any of those people that he was trying to dodge. It was the infected who he thought that they were in the clear of, like, for the last so many years. They're the ones that ended up becoming his brother's demise. So it's just like I can't imagine like if I was to, let's say, put all this effort into doing something and then it was all pretty much kind of like wiped out by just one, like, one miscalculation, one mistake, and
Yeah.
then it's definitely like like it does a mind job on you. And so the thing is, him pulling the trigger out of instinct just to kind of, again, that's just the protective side of you coming out. Like if you see someone getting threatened, your
Mhm.
instinct is just to,
Well,
like,
that's his instinct in that world right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
he
Right?
didn't
If
even
he saw him
flinch.
infected, I think he just shoot the hell out of it without questioning.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even up his
it
brother.
was a little twitch shot. It wasn't like he was like aiming and then kind of pondering. He just literally just, and then that was it. So then it was only once the dust settled, and then like once,
Once he can see the
yeah,
aftermath.
once all
Mhm.
the craziness kind of died down, and basically it's all silence, and then basically then it just sunk in.
Yeah, put
And
everything together.
dude, at that point, even if we as the viewers wanted him to go on, like, what more does he have as a character to progress at this point?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his story arc is pretty much wrapped up at that point, because he really has no, like, again, I'm one to say that life is precious. I'm never one to, like, I always believe that you should always look forward to tomorrow. But in this world, the way they paint it out is because it's a very bleak situation all around. It's not a case of, oh, like, wait till tomorrow, things will get better. But you've just been dealt like a shit sandwich pretty much your whole life. So basically, when your only purpose of living goes away, and that was your only, like, he didn't have any interest, he didn't have any other motivation.
That's like
That
episode 3 almost.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But you know what the difference with, and I know people compare that with episode 3. The difference though was Bill and Frank lived a full life,
Mhm.
and they actually
Yes.
had and
This
they
is
had
more
time.
tragic. Right.
Yeah, they had time to enjoy their company,
Mhm.
and they were very far along in their journey.
And they're
That
already old men
it
in
was a
the
very
apocalypse.
bittersweet, yeah, it was kind of like a bittersweet send off, but at the
Mhm.
same time it was like one of those, like, it could have gone worse. Like if someone was to go out, that's probably the way you would want to go out, like in your
Mhm.
bed peacefully. That's kind of how I would want to go. I'd want to, like, peacefully, no
Mhm.
harm, no foul. This was just a tragedy, no, there's no way to slice it. So yeah, it's just a case where, look, um this was not meant to be a happy episode. I think we got that in the previous episode with the jokes and the, with the puns and all that. This was, I think this episode was also like, these characters were meant to kind of let the audience know that, look, we gave you a bit of a reprieve in that last episode. You got to remember that this is some dire circumstances, and
Yeah, it's gonna get worse,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I also feel like every time people complain that, oh, we just got these characters and they're dead, right? You got to think of, in terms of a game and a show, these other characters don't serve any other purpose other than to inform us of Joel and Ellie's journey, their
Yeah.
characteristic building, how this whole journey is going to shape them, and the comparisons that they see within other people that they meet, right? Because they there's it's usually you see a couple, right? We see two people most of the time
Mhm.
in these stories that we get to this full out story, and then they go away, right? It's the same
Mhm.
thing we kind of think of. It's Kathleen and her brother, right? But we never see her brother, but we understand that relationship and what
Yeah,
happened,
yeah.
right? It's Sam and Henry, it's Frank and Bill, it's him
Elle.
and what was her name?
Who?
Ellie,
The girl who died at the beginning, second
Tess.
episode.
Tess.
Yeah, Tess.
Tess.
Like there's just all these tells that these people are basically informing Joel and Ellie of how they're going to react later, or how their informed decisions will be made later from these experiences.
You know what broke my soul, dude, is Ellie put "I'm sorry."
Yeah, on the
Like-
Etch a Sketch, whatever that thing is.
Oh,
That
Yeah.
broke Joel.
Well, yeah, but because you got to see progression in last episode of Joel, and like Hyper was saying this in the chat, you got to see Ellie's progression in this character, kind of like to be a kid, right? To have hope. Towards the end of that, it was more like there is no hope now. Like, and it kind of like it kind of felt like also like they were hanging on by this comic book and being kids and having to. It basically was saying like there is no childhood in this. Like you got to survive.
Endure. Was it Savage Starlight was the name of the comic,
Endure
right?
and
Savage
survive.
Starlight.
Endure and survive,
Yeah,
which is
that just
funny because they kind of say it in the show that it's redundant.
Yeah.
That is true though. You have to.
Yeah, they were trying to tell you here you are. You're like, oh, they're gonna make it out, and you're like,
Meh.
Well, it's like someone saying pin number.
yeah.
But I feel like that there's a deeper meaning to that though in the show itself, because I feel like everyone thinks, okay, well, we all know we're in the apocalypse, right? Like I don't think anyone's fooled by that, but then they forget that they're in the apocalypse somehow and make rash, stupid decisions, or forget about the other stuff that are part of the apocalypse and just go, meh. And the next thing you know, it bites them in the ass.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you talking about like specifically
Kathleen?
like Kathleen? Okay, all right.
Yeah, like we're talking like, I think Henry and Sam. I mean, because like what he said before, like that whole getting to the tunnel, haha, I was right, haha,
Well,
like,
not even that. Like with the sniper, when he was making all that noise, and then the sniper tried to snag him.
yeah,
Like,
that
no,
too.
like, here. And all of a
Like,
sudden, man,
he's just
like,
making
dude, what are you doing? Yeah,
decisions.
because it was an old man. He probably was sleeping in that sniper nest.
Like,
Until he started making all that
Yeah,
noise.
he was all free, and then pew!
someone told me that in this dark underground hole there are no infected.
Come on.
I don't trust you. I don't
3
care.
years,
You just
3
went
years
down
ago.
there and came up from the damn tunnel.
Yeah, that was
Right?
creepy.
I'm not in that world where I can just trust somebody.
Yeah,
Right?
My guy in Fedra, that was his.
I know
3
his
years
yeah,
ago.
I got this guy, you know.
My brother's sister's friend's cousin.
Whose head is probably on a spike outside.
It's not
the
even
seawall.
Federer. His name's Federer.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah.
Pedrino.
I'll introduce you to my friend.
Pedrito.
His head is on the spike on the gate.
I
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
jeez, Lord.
He was the guy that was getting dragged down with those pin cushions on
Oh
the floor.
my god, I saw
bet.
that. He was being stabbed, huh? He was like a stab. They're
Okay,
dragging the body.
so I know we're moving for. I just want to say this part though, and this is almost like, I guess, an analogy on society, right? I get it. Look, people that are oppressed want to seek justice. There's a weird. It is a bit sadistic though when it gets into celebratory killing. You know what I mean? It's like I get it when people want to get justice, but then when people are, ratcheting it up to a level 10, there's a certain level of sadism on your end to kind of want to, like the way that they look. I get it. Like they even highlighted the kind of like, I don't want to say the R word. I don't want, you know what it is, because YouTube is kind of strange like that. But like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain crimes that Fedra committed that I get it. It's justified in terms of capital execution. But it's just that when the way that they were celebrating, it almost felt like that purge situation. It's almost like, okay, these people are definitely, like you could tell that they are basically going to become what they hated.
Yeah, there's a line, right? Because there's a line between retribution and vengeance, right? Like there's a real line there, and then it also shows that if you don't like keep in mind of what the whole purpose of everything that you're doing, you lose your humanity because you become like the other people you hate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you just mimic what they did because they did it.
Yeah.
And that's not a right thing to do no matter in what situation.
Well, Kathleen was almost relishing interrogating those people. If you noticed, like she like like the whole like you're gonna go on trial and that's how you're gonna be guilty. That's how it goes. Like ha ha ha. Like
you know how it goes. You know how it goes.
It's like you could tell that she was enjoying this process. Like
she's crazy.
Yeah. She was basically like if I was to use the analogy, the woman that would probably key your car. Kind of
very
like there's no
She's sending you a dozen pizzas at like
12. There's no talking her out of it.
And then as you're walking up to your car, she sees you coming and she just smiles at you, and walks away.
So shallow.
How am I gonna eat all this pizza? That's what I would tell her.
It's just that, and you know what I did, and someone else pointed this. I'm kind of glad that the right hand man they did, because usually some of these shows the right hand man ends up becoming worse than the person. He's like that that grunt that kind of is like the asshole of the group, but he actually surprisingly was a more endearing character just from his. Just from what I saw,
he sounded more sound. Like his saying, he had more sanity to what he was saying.
Yeah. And he was kind of seeing how things were changing.
But it also shows you like, I know I don't want to get too murky in this, but too muddy. But it's like some of those people who were there on January 6th, they're not exactly the people who might have actually gone inside, but they were there. Like they're kind of like that person that kind of is a follower, but still like has good tendencies, qualities and good morals. Just believe something that they thought was true, and was there's suckers all the time. And he was just a smart guy, a good person, but probably also suckered in by emotions.
Well, also, I think it's. I mean, I'm gonna venture to guess that he probably had a military background. So for him, respecting the chain of command was also an important thing for him.
Loyalty.
Yeah. So and you can tell, like right down to his final breath, he basically he self-sacrificed himself and he told Kathleen to recover. So like as. To be honest, I think he would have been a much. I don't think it's an argument. He would have been definitely a much better leader than Kathleen would have been.
100%.
And
he was more compassionate. He was
going down with the ship, dude. I would have been sad. Dude.
Well, not just more compassionate, but I think he would have had a much more of a level head.
Yeah, he had a head on.
He would have retreated. He would have retreated.
Yeah.
Nah, he'd have taken care of a lot of different things before going after Henry, or even going after Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because remember, she's like, "Oh, so Henry's not your priority," and he saw his body language was like. No, but I guess for you it is. So I should say yeah.
All of a sudden shit hit the fan and he was like, not anymore.
I know, right? You were wrong. You were crazy.
Yeah, wrong. Wrong.
Exactly.
I think there's only
Bates. You're right.
I don't know if there's any much more to talk about this episode. I
we milked the shit out of this thing.
I do want to like, and this is a small bit, but like when Ellie goes, I have the cure, like medicine in my blood.
Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
Hand and she puts it on the wound. I'm like, that was like that commercial. That this is not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
That does not work that way.
That broke my heart, dude. That was like.
This is probably a bad example, but because it's a touching moment. But I don't know if you guys ever saw the Chris Rock special, Bigger and Blacker, when he said that when he was young, his dad used to put Robitussin whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's but right. Or Windex.
Yeah.
Use Windex. Windex will cure it. That's
the thing is, she probably
she's a kid. She doesn't know
she's a kid, and I think it was just a Hail Mary attempt to maybe it was just her way of trying to comfort him before he doesn't have he doesn't freak out and like before he turns. So maybe she just wanted to send him off. But again, honestly, I think she probably thought that it may have worked because otherwise, she could have alerted Joel or somebody else, right? Maybe she did have that hope that
the naiveness of a child.
Exactly. because I don't think like I couldn't sense any sadness, yes, but I couldn't sense the like.
So
Oh,
she
shit,
was
he's gonna kill
scared.
me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she
Yeah.
wasn't scared. And the thing is, like, she cut it and tried and like touched that nasty wound. I would like got some cotton there. Let me just touch that wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
touch
She just
that
went
wound
right
there.
in there, dude. Blood,
I was like,
blood brothers for life.
I know, that was kind of
Por
gross.
vida.
I was like,
We're in the apocalypse. There's no medicine.
I would have got a
or
cloth,
something.
or I would have dripped my blood on top of it like a lemon,
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure, right?
But
She
not
just went
put
right
my
in.
own.
No questions asked.
You should have like sucked on it too, or something like that, dude. I don't know. So
This
Jeff,
this
we're
episode was
almost
crazy.
Jeff, we're almost there. Should
Yeah.
I get
Yeah. I mean, does anybody have any
closing
any
comments?
remaining thoughts with that? And also, let's give it a rating.
Okay.
The episode. So let's start with you, Steve.
Oh man,
Steve.
this one was for me
DVP.
was it's been steady, dude. It's been perfect for me. This one got my like 5 out of 5. I think the storyline was great.
Yeah.
They gave you a little
Yeah.
bit of action, calamity in the situation, and then you got a glimmer of hope only to be let down, and basically the truth to the Last of Us. It's gonna boil down to the last of them. So it's been excellent, man. So 5 out of 5 for me.
Nice, Charlie.
it goes back to the younger episodes that I loved. It had drama, action, suspense, sadness. Dude, it was like a perfect sandwich. I give it a 5. A mushroom sandwich.
Nice.
What do you call it?
Nothing wrong
Yes.
with mushroom sandwich.
I'm getting hungry.
Hyper.
I'm getting hungry.
So, all right. So, I didn't touch on this previously, like in our discussion, but there were just 2 little nitpicks I have with this episode,
Hit 'em.
and then I'm gonna get to my score. The first nitpick was I understand that little bedroom scene with Kathleen there where they wanted to give the backstory about her brother. To be honest, it didn't do it for me. I felt like I still it maybe gave me a little bit of sympathy, but I felt like that scene was it kind of felt flat. To be honest.
I don't know if it was. I didn't feel like they were trying to get sympathy. I felt like they were just trying to explain her role in their
Her motive.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Why she's
yeah,
crazy.
and
If
what
that's
her,
the case,
her brother's
then
role
fine.
was.
But like,
Yeah.
if it was meant as a vehicle to kind of give
Mhm.
us more,
That's right,
make her
Tim. That's right,
make her
Tim.
more like humane, like have a more humane look to her. I don't know. It didn't really resonate with me in that sense. My second, again, this is a very small nitpick. When when Sam got infected, he honestly didn't look infected. He just looked like an angry kid lashing out. Like he
Well,
didn't.
he didn't eat breakfast, dog.
No, like
he was angry. He was angry.
But he didn't have like I don't know. He didn't have like the maybe because it happened so fast. He didn't look very infectish to me.
I guess I felt like he was scared, so he didn't want to tell anybody.
Yeah,
No.
in the game,
I mean
he
his
didn't want to let
face,
down
his
his
face,
brother.
right? Like
No, because he got bitten.
Oh,
in the leg.
you mean at the end when he turns?
when he
when he was
turns,
sitting
he
at the
didn't
bed.
look. He just looked like a kid that
A
just.
kid? Yeah, I
Oh,
think
I
I think it's
see
because
what
it
you're
happened so
saying.
fast.
Because he
And
just turned.
I think it was supposed to make us like the camera turn movements. We're supposed to give us that like we're Joel or we're Henry's point of view, where it's like it's chaos just happening, and we're getting a glimpse here, a glimpse there, because it happened so fast.
Okay,
in the
because
moment. That's just
wanna-
my how I took it, but I get what you're saying.
I think he just
I'm going to be
turned,
honest
that's all.
because that scene almost made me turn on Sam. Because one thing I hate is whiny kids. So I'm like, okay, dude, I was with you until that last scene, and then I'm like, I'm like,
Dude, you're out. You're out.
Wait,
Set him on fire.
I don't care.
Demonetized.
I don't care for whiny cues who got
Again.
infected and bitten. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying that the
Monetized.
infected would have probably added to it. But when he just showed his teeth, I'm like, I've seen kids like that in real life, and it actually pisses me off. That's why.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
man.
I
Like,
got
like,
you.
Sam,
I got you.
just quit it. Should have slapped him.
I got
Sam, just quit
nephews.
it.
I got you.
Like you know those
No
kids in the
dinner for
stroller.
you.
I
like,
know,
you
no
those kids
beans,
in the
can of
shopping
beans for
mall,
you.
like you're waiting in line at the checkout, and then the
Yeah,
mom's looking
yeah.
over there, and the kid starts doing faces at me, and then I'm using every power in my life because there's statues for hitting a kid. So you kind of have to.
Full of
So-
Henry, dude.
Anyways, okay. Before I incriminate myself, I'm gonna move on to my score.
Demonetized.
So, I said episode 1 up until this point was my favorite episode of the 4. This actually surpasses episode 1. It's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Nice,
And I'll-
brother.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because Carlos kind of touched on it. It ran a full gamut of emotions. You had a bit of levity.
That's
You
right.
had the tension, like I mentioned, that was missing in the last 2 episodes, and you had that somberness. It basically it was, and it didn't feel forced. Like these
Mhm.
things were just woven, and you were just going on a roller coaster. And the other thing that I liked about it is this was like a pivotal moment in Ellie's progression, because up until this point, she felt very much like an anchor for Joel. Joel's been
Yeah.
very stoic and all that, and Ellie was very she was bringing a lot of levity to Joel. Now it's actually up to Joel to kind of step in and kind of be an anchor for Ellie, because she's growing up faster than a lot of us would in that situation. Because
You
I don't
gotta
know
have
about
to.
you,
You
but
gotta
I
have
wasn't
to.
this wasn't my 14-year-old experience. Like, I was just like riding the bus going to school. Like, I wasn't
I'm still
feeling
growing up.
infected and all that. So
Yeah.
she's experiencing things that she shouldn't. So it's gonna be we're gonna get to see how Joel handle this going forward, because you can tell how she's a lot more standoffish now at the end of the episode, like Joel was. So now Joel is gonna have to probably start stepping up in this case. So
Yeah, he's
that's why
gonna need
this
the dad
episode kind of,
jokes.
sorry.
He's gonna need those dad jokes.
Yeah, but it leaves that door open to see, okay, where we go from here, and I'm loving it. So yeah, 5 on 5.
Nice.
That
I
sandwich.
also agree with everybody. The episode had a little bit of everything and a lot more of stuff we haven't had in the previous 4 episodes.
Yep.
Um,
That's true.
it's
Follow.
exciting. I love the relationship that they showed. That ending was shocking to me, even though I'm sure other people probably saw it coming.
Yeah,
Um,
I did. I was like,
it,
yep.
it, it it's still, it probably still hit you a little differently just because of the changes they made to the
The
character.
actors.
Yeah,
Yes.
so like I'm with you, 5 out of 5. Probably one of the best episodes of the whole series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't wait to see the second half of this. But with that said, Steve, can you please roll out the sponsors and stuff like
Oh
that?
yeah, man, for sure, dude. I love this show. I can't wait for the next one, man. Woo! Can't wait for the next one. But we want to use Nirvana 14 for 30 days of unlimited cover price at 99 cents. Guys, again, if you're a collector and you're running the gamut, if you're beginning, track your collection, do yourself a favor, so that you're not buying doubles or triples, or if that's what you're doing, go for it, man. But at least you can track the price. You can at least track the trends. You want to get to the next key and the next book that in your PC that you want to keep. You never know. You got to use cover price. So all right, and then boom, and then you got to use TNH 10 for 10% of your purchase over at Bird City Comics. When you want to get a limited, super freaking comic that is out in the market, or awesome like freaking artists that they have, you're gonna want to use TNH 10, right? TNH 10, 10% off of your purchase over at Bird City, and that is it. You guys follow Jeff for the next show. Jeff, you want to hit him with the week?
Yeah, so right after this show is Cover Lovers at 7 p.m.
Lovers.
Don't forget, Tuesday, tomorrow is Comic Book Women. They'll have a show ready for you. On Wednesday, we'll have Mondo Mail Call. We'll have a special guest, Aaron Yeezy. And we'll also on Thursday, there's Long Story Short. On Friday, there's Nearing Nirvana. They're nice little Friday chat. And then Saturday, we got Saturday Morning Toy Box and maybe some Game Addicts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tune in. We're here all week. Check us out. And with that said, if you want to do it right, watch TV for life, watch what you like, and couch potatoes for life.
Oh man, that's a good one right there. Boom.